Pumps, I'm beginning to think that the Trumps, Donald and Melania, are broke.
I agree.
The grifts are increasing, and they're selling all of this racket, riffraff, knick-knack, the Bibles, the necklaces. Well, I've noticed that Melania has increased the grift big time. So she has a $600 freedom necklace that she just released for sale. Mind you, she's an alleged wife of a billionaire.
Right.
And you might famously remember that Trump said, I'm not even going to take donations. I'm so rich, I'm going to self-fund my campaign, right? I'm not going to take a salary. I'm so rich. Well, she also has Christmas ornaments. And I think we all remember that she said she didn't give an F about the Christmas when she was recorded unbeknownst to her. And she's just released this new memoir called Melania. And she is launching a full-blown advertising campaign assault on her Twitter feed. And it is so weird, these tweets.
So weird.
In April, the Trump campaign released a press release that their secret weapon for Trump's third attempt to be president of the United States was going to be Melania Trump. They're going to release Melania Trump. They never did. She's never been to one rally. She never went to court with him. I think she just hides at Mar-a-Lago. And now she started releasing these uber bizarre tweets. Let me play this one for you.
Why do I stand proudly behind my nude modeling work? The more pressing question is, why has the media chosen to scrutinize my celebration of the human form in a fashion photo shoot? Are we no longer able to appreciate the beauty of the human body? Throughout history, master artists have revered the human shape, evoking profound emotions and admiration. We should honor our bodies and embrace the timeless tradition of using art as a powerful means of self-expression.
Who's going to tell her? Who is going to tell her that the party that tries to censor art and censor expression is the one that she's campaigning for? She shows in this tweet a video of Michelangelo's David. The moms of liberty, when they're not busy having threesomes with one another, tried to ban Michelangelo's David from being taught in high school, in a high school art history class.
The lack of self-awareness that she shows routinely throughout the time she was First Lady, but this in particular to me stuck out because she says the press is attacking the human body. No one's even talked about your nude photos for years. And for you to compare yourself to the great works of art over history just shows me a lack of self-awareness and a self-grandiosity that only rivals her husband.
When Michelle Obama was First Lady, there was a lot of very incendiary, racist, sexist attacks on her. She wore sleeveless shirts. Conservative media went after that. And then there was a lot far worse, more sinister, nefarious attacks on her. I have zero issue with nude art. Zero. The political party and the political movement that wants to censor this would be the Puritan Party, the one that has over 85% of evangelical support. They're the ones that get wound up about nude art. Our problem isn't, Melania, that you pose nude. I couldn't care less. It means nothing to me that she poses nude. Model poses nude. I don't care. But who cares about this is Mike Johnson, Ted Cruz. And what we care about is the breathtaking hypocrisy that we get to do whatever we want to do. But when anybody else does it, we're going to judge them and put our puritanical, judgmental spin on it and make everybody feel like they're going to rot and burn in hell forever. It's the hypocrisy. That's the problem. Let me play the second clip.
The 2020 election results changed our lives forever. It impacted our quality of life, cost of food, gasoline, safety, and even the geopolitical landscape. America is more divided today than ever before. It has become increasingly apparent that there are significant challenges to free speech, as demonstrated by the efforts to silence my husband.
Efforts to silence her husband? He will not shut the fuck up. He has his own platform, Truth Social, and then he has all of Twitter because Elon Musk totally is in the pocket of Trump right now and vice versa. And it's the way that they play victim.
Yes.
And there's zero accountability. Your husband incited a violent insurrection where cops were beat up with flagpoles and there were Nazi flags and racial slurs hurled at Capitol Police that had black or brown skin. And she has the audacity to get on Twitter in this super bizarre with the classical music. If Michelle Obama or Jill Biden were doing this on their Twitter feed, were schlepping all these riffraff and knickknacks and promoting their own personal nude art, Fox News would be in the ER with the resting heart rate out of control. They wouldn't be able to control themselves. It's the hypocrisy, stupid. That's what everybody hates about the Trump movement, is the hypocrisy.
You know, I look at Melania Trump, and there have been times that I have had empathy for her because I think we can all agree being married to Donald Trump would be the absolute worst thing that could ever happen to a person. But I look at her during her first lady term, be best to cut down on cyberbullying. Her husband is the single biggest cyberbully in the history of the World Wide Web. Then she sits and acts like a victim. And I don't know if she's learned it from him or if she genuinely feels that way. But for her to act like free speech is such an issue for her when her husband is the biggest jackmouth on the planet and she has never used her speech for anything other than self-promotion. So I have no patience for her victimhood in this regard.
I've never really had that much empathy for Melania Trump because I think when you marry for money, you earn every penny. And she knows exactly why she married him. She knows she didn't stand up for, she's never stood up for women.
No.
She's never stood up for women's rights. The fact that right now she's talking about people that can't afford groceries when this woman's never been in a grocery store from the day that she met Donald Trump is just appalling. Now let's take a brief moment to hear from our sponsor, Field of Greens. You know, Pumps, I oftentimes don't have time to make sure I'm getting all the vitamins and minerals that I need in every meal. That's why I take Field of Greens. It's whole, organic fruits and vegetables, no extracts, no lab-made stuff. Just one scoop a day gives you simple, real nutrition.
What I really like about Field of Greens, it's a steady flow of energy throughout the day, and I don't bottom out in the afternoon.
Absolutely. I get steady energy, no afternoon crashes, better sleep, and my stomach even feels a ton better. Listener, I'm sure that you'll love Field of Greens, but if you don't, you can return it for a full refund. Because you listen to IHIP News, we've got 15% off your first order and free rush shipping. Visit fieldofgreens.com and use promo code MANAGER. That's promo code MANAGER at fieldofgreens.com. fieldofgreens.com. Okay, now let's listen to the next clip.
I never imagined my privacy would be invaded by the government here in America. The FBI raided my home in Florida and searched through my personal belongings. This is not just my story. It serves as a warning to all Americans, a reminder that our freedom and rights must be respected.
Melania, what you just discovered was the fuck around, find out case of society. Your husband took items that did not belong to him. These items belonged to the American public. A lot of them uber classified documents, the nuke codes, military plans. He took them to your tacky, horribly decorated Mar-a-Lago in this train wreck of a bathroom and stored them. They asked nicely and tried to be, tiptoe. He was a former president. Give us our stuff back. He wouldn't give them back. He wouldn't respond to the federal government because he thinks the rules don't apply to him. And it sounds like he's found the most perfect soulmate in Melania Trump because she also thinks the rules don't apply to her. To get on Twitter and act like these people are victims when they created every single bit of this. No president in American history has ever behaved the way Donald Trump has behaved. And no first lady has ever behaved as despicably as Melania Trump has, selling these tacky, cheap, tawdry little riffraffs and knickknacks because I think they are dead ass broke.
I don't think anyone would, with any self-respect, would sell all this shit if they weren't desperate for cash. Here's what really strikes me about all these posts from Melania of her new memoir. Number one, it looks like a hostage video. I mean, there is zero expression, and I don't think it's just because of the Botox. I think she is devoid of any human emotion. And for her to act like the FBI raided Mar-a-Lago, a search warrant was executed by a federal judge because your husband is a criminal. So instead of whining around about your personal items being gone through, why don't you talk about if you're so concerned about the search of your personal items, why don't you talk about the millions of Americans that suffer from false accusations or are executed on unlawful search warrants? But no, she's talking about her. And I think she is, I'm going to say it again, I think she is 100% devoid of human emotion, particularly empathy.
And that's what you call a sociopath or
Right.
a psychopath. Also, it's come to light that she was paid $240,000 at a speaking event for the Log Cabin Republicans. Typically, a first lady, when their husband is campaigning, would not get paid for a speaking event. So my question goes back to, if they're such billionaires, why all of these grifts? Why is she now so vested into the grifts? Because I believe all of these judgments against him to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars, the sexual assault, the New York State case, and on. Plus, think about how much it costs to campaign. He installs his daughter-in-law, Lara Trump. They're not sending any money down ballot. Reports are coming out that they have practically the most flimsy ground campaign ever. And I think they are struggling for money. And Melania, she's like, by God, I married this son of a bitch for a reason, and I'm going to continue living the life I'm going to live. Right. So she trots out all these psychopathic posts. But here's a window into their marriage. I want to play this last clip for you, because this to me says it all.
The First Lady has a book coming out, a memoir. What do we get from that book? I haven't read it yet. How important is it for her to put that out?
Well, she's a tremendous person, very precise, very accurate, and I do believe she loves her husband. That's probably the biggest surprise to a lot of people, come to think of it.
Sometimes the truth slips out.
Yeah. Well, especially with him.
Sometimes the truth just slips out. I do think he's like, oh my God, she made these commercials about me, defending me. I think she might love her husband. What a surprise. No, you dipshit. She loves your money.
Right.
And you're running out of it, and everybody knows it. And I think after this presidential campaign, all of the charges that have come about, I think there's going to be a ton more, because I think we have massive campaign finance laws that are being broken here. I think we have a lot of pay to play going on. I think there's a lot of foreign government interference. I think that the charges that have been filed against Trump to date are just the tip of the iceberg. This man is a full-blown con man, and his wife sold her soul ages ago, and she has, I don't know if she's always been a sociopath. I tend to think that sometimes broken people find each other and their brokenness fits and makes them feel comfortable. And so I think she probably is morally depraved as well. Otherwise, she wouldn't have chosen to breed with him and whatnot. So I think that for the family values voter and that say marriage is the epicenter of society, we have to promote marriage. That is the most disgusting marriage. And these people are nothing short of televangelists.
Yes.
And her meltdown on Twitter, this death spiral grift that she's engaged in, I just have to ask myself, is she okay?
Well, I think the answer to that's clearly no. One thing I wanted to point out on the log cabin contributions to her for a speaking engagement, the Republican committee that they're saying paid her the $240,000 is like, we've never paid her for that. So she herself could very likely be the subject of a campaign finance violation. So when I think about her, I think she has, like you said, morphed into him. The grift, criminality, lack of empathy, I think it all goes together. And I think that she has such a platform where she could talk about lawful immigration and what it's like coming to the United States as an immigrant. But instead, what she does is sit around and make hostage videos for this depraved husband of hers. And the more I think about it, the more I think they just deserve each other.
I think they deserve each other. And I think that the worst thing that could happen to them is for them to lose their money. Mm-hmm. And I think they're losing their money because if any other presidential candidate or past president engaged in this style of riffraff and knick-knack state fair prizes that they're selling to their alleged supporters who are so hit by inflation,
right?
These NFT cards and all this crap, they're broke.
They're broke.
They are broke. And I mean, it costs a lot to fly those private planes around. A lot. The staffing. And then all of the hundreds of millions of dollars in judgments against him that are accruing interest. I think the Trumps are broke. I think they're con artists. And Melania is completely losing her mind.
Yeah.
All right. We will see you guys tomorrow.